Here's how I look at life. Okay, here's how I look at life. Every goal that I have, the goal is irrelevant. If the physical thing that everybody will see, that's irrelevant. See, the ego wants the physical thing. The soul wanted the new version of who it had to become. When you start chasing that, all of your goals become obsolete. And now you're living life from the inside out. And when you live life from the inside out, you're detached from the outside, and you will accomplish whatever the outside goal is. So here's how I look at it. Who do I have to become in order to accomplish that? What limiting beliefs do I have to get rid of? What fears do I have to step towards? What insecurities do I have to overcome? What parts of me do I need to lay to rest that no longer serve a purpose? Do you see how this works? Everything is intrinsic, cannot be quantified or measured by anybody else other than me. When I do that, I will inevitably become the version of me who has accomplished the thing that the world will see.
You want to know the secret to achieving everything that you dream about? Don't quit. See, when you know what the destination is, there's a million paths to get there. And it took me a long time to learn that the greatest moments of growth and success happen right after you feel like quitting, but you don't. That's the secret. Keep going.
If they can do it, I can do it. And that's the mentality. If somebody else can do it, you can do it. And I said to myself, I will do it and I will do it better. And that's the mentality. And another thing, whatever everybody else says is not important. So if they tell you you're best, it's not important. The important is that you say you're the best.
Don't have an excuse. If you didn't want to do it, say you didn't want to do it. Then if you didn't want to do it, then your goals didn't matter, right? If your goals are something that matter to you, you'll never have an excuse, period.
Because my beliefs have always been stronger than anyone's doubt. It's never about your setbacks. It's how you respond. The blows you take are fuel. The limitations people put on you are actually inspiration.
You want to become a master at overcoming hard moments. That is, to me, the sign of a champion. The best in the world are not the best because they win every point. It's because they know they'll lose again and again and have learned how to deal with it. You accept it, you move on, be relentless, adapt and grow, work harder, work smarter. Remember, work smarter.
You need to work harder. You need to discipline your mind better. And it starts off with you have to have pride in yourself. You have to be proud of yourself. We need to help people more than just saying it's okay. It's okay that you're not willing to help yourself out. That's not okay. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. Even though it's your life, if that's acceptable, that's unacceptable. A lot of people can take one more step, but they choose not to. I don't know if you can take 2 steps. You got to answer that question after you take the first step. But if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself, because that is the number one purpose in life, is to better oneself.
The man who never fell has no glory. The man who fell and got back up, that's where his glory is. The man who fell 20 times and got up 21 times, that man has even greater glory. Way more courage than the guy who was so strong from birth that he never fell. There's no glory in that.
If you're struggling in life, whether it's emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, whatever it may be, it's very easy to look at your life and just see chaos. It's very easy to look at your life and just feel the weight holding you down. So wherever you're at, no matter what your situation is, I want you to stop for a minute and understand this. You don't have control over what happens. You don't get to decide the outcome. But what you do have control over is what you do. And what you do influences the outcome. So what you need to do is sit down and decide, okay, what do I have control over? My effort, my attitude, my actions, who I spend my time with, who I don't spend my time with, the food I put in my body, the information I put in my brain. If all you do for the next 3 months is hammer down and focus on those things that you have control over and forget about the rest is going to take care of itself.
What if it turns out better than you expected? What if you can trust yourself to be able to handle it? And what if all those things you've been dreaming of are actually closer than you might realize?
Act of closing your eyes and rehearsing who you're going to be when you open your eyes begins to install neurological hardware in your brain to look like you've already done it. Now the brain, which is typically a record of the past, now becomes a map to the future. And if you keep doing it, the hardware begins to become a software program and you start behaving differently. And then if you can teach your body emotionally what the future will feel like, that means then you're not going to wait for your wealth to feel abundant or your success to feel empowered or your new relationship to feel love. In fact, the moment you start feeling abundant, you're generating wealth. The moment you start embracing empowerment, you're stepping towards your success. The moment you're in love with yourself and you're in love with life, you start creating equals in your life. Now that's causing an effect in your life.
Winning is a wonderful outcome. It's just not a great purpose. Your purpose for life should be rooted in who you are. So if your purpose is who you're becoming, it can't be shaken by wins or losses, failure or success. You should want to win. You should want to be the best. These are great aspirations, but they should be outcomes of the person that you're committed to becoming.
True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you. Sit beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want, good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
That the journey is truly the reward. I may not be who I want to be today, but I know I can be better tomorrow, working towards who that person is to me. That's a choice for me. The wins and the losses, whether the games come and go, yes. Am I dedicated to my craft? Yes. Am I going to make mistakes moving forward? Yes. Am I ever going to be perfect? I'm just aware that you have to have laughter. You have to have fun in this. You have to smile. You cannot put too much pressure on yourself because there's one life to live.
But understand this, life is hard. No matter who you are, there are bumps and hits and bruises along the way. And my advice is to prepare yourself. The truth is, you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts.
Do you know how easy it is to stand out right now? Most people aren't even trying. We live in a day and age where the average individual is socially inept. They are so wrapped up in their own problems that they can't fathom providing value to anybody else. All you basically have to do to stand out amongst the rest is to try, to focus on your goals, take consistent action, and show up every single day trying to add value to people. That alone is far more than most people are doing. So many people are completely asleep at the wheel. So if you just have a little bit of grit, a little bit of work ethic, a little bit of hustle, you can gain such a competitive advantage over them. It is disgusting.
Those who can do, those who can't talk about those who can. Send that out. Those who can do, those who can't talk about those who can't.
When a hero stumbles, both cowards rejoice. Nothing feels better to a coward than to watch a brave guy fall.
This life is not here to make you suffer. This life is here to make you understand what is your potential. Maybe there is something bigger that you can become. This is also meaning, discover your potential.
You may be frustrated with where you are right now, but think about the story that you can tell later when you're where you want to be. If you're working some shitty job right now, or you're broke, or you're in debt, or you just got fired, it sucks. right now. But one day this will be a chapter of your life that you'll not only be grateful for, but one that you can use to inspire other people. So before you start feeling sorry for yourself, remind yourself of the story that you're going to tell later. Knowing how far you've come and being able to tell that story is going to be worth whatever you're going through right now.
You got two choices. One, you get scared, you give up, and then you burn up. I mean, the second one, it's like, Jake, fucking fear, and you barrel through it. But when you come out on the other side, I guarantee you, you're going to be stronger than you ever thought possible.
You lose more life trying to optimize everything than just letting it. The stress of trying to be perfect is killing you more quickly than your imperfections.
I will never wish for fewer epic stories at the end of my life. And I've never regretted failures. I've always regretted things that I didn't try.
Dreams have a purpose, but those dreams are not necessarily to be fulfilled. They are a vehicle that gets you moving.
Very easy to stay in that realm of comfort with the people at the bottom, but you'll never fly high enough. You may have to go at it alone, and you may be your only supporter, but that's okay, because that's the most important supporter. That's the one that you can rely on to put in the work every single day, despite what you're going through, because it's hard to rely on people, especially ones who don't see the vision.
This is one of the best questions, I think, to ask yourself when faced with a decision, which is, what would you tomorrow want you today to do?
You might be dealing with a lot right now, and it might be easier to hide and run from it all. Don't. Embrace the storm. Let it harden you, because on the other side of the struggle is a version of you that is stronger, healthier, and more unstoppable than you ever thought possible. Running away from the challenge won't get you anywhere, but showing up for yourself, even when it's hard, will. Stay strong. You got this.
There's a self in you that wants to come out, that's there, that's buried within, that will feel better. When we bring it out, we feel better. The lower self is our animal nature. When you're bringing out the higher self, you're becoming human. Your lower self is your addictions. You're always wanting something easy and fast and quick. And when you indulge in that, you don't feel good. You want to bring out that higher self. And I want you to confront that and not deny it anymore and see that that's in you. It's in everyone. It's not like every human has it. It's extremely democratic.
Ultimately, happiness comes down to the decision of choosing to become aware of our mental afflictions or choosing to be ruled by them. This is what hard feels like. Did you think the thing that you wanted to try and achieve was going to be easy? No. Okay. So what's the entry price of trying to achieve this thing? Well, it's hard. Like, you are here to be challenged by things. This is what hard feels like.
You can be very grateful for what it is you have right now and still be ambitious with goals and dreams and visions that you want for yourself. And in fact, being grateful is part of being happy along the journey. Being happy along the journey takes three components. It takes gratitude, it takes a mission, and it takes discipline. And if you have those three things operating in your being, you're going to be happy along the way. That's reality. Do it sad, do it angry, do it heartbroken, do it miserable, do it excited, do it energized, do it happy, do it tired, do it confident, do it discouraged. Do it anyway.
Life is not just the passing of time. Life is a collection of experiences, their frequency and their intensity. Life is not just watching clock tick away. Life is a collection of experiences, their intensity, their frequency. Whatever the span of your life turns out to be, here's what you want to fill it up with: experiences and the intensity of those experiences.
Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, because the human mind is not going to make you happy. This brain of yours won't do it. You have to direct it. And there's no worse fate than to achieve everything and not be fulfilled.
There are a lot of voices in life trying to define us, tell us who we are. Sometimes they're uplifting, a parent telling us that we're talented, we can do great things. Other times they're negative. You're not attractive. There's nothing special about you. You made too many mistakes. You missed your chance. When you listen to all these voices, it's easy to think, who's telling the truth? Who am I? Here's the key. The only voice that matters is your voice.
The fastest way to change your life is to start keeping the promises you make to yourself. You chose this, and even though it might be hard, you still owe it to yourself to see it through. Don't live with regret. Put it all on the line and let it play out the way it's supposed to. The last thing you want to do is wonder what if. Don't give yourself that option. Make it happen now.
There's a place in your heart where your dreams live and your intuition thrives. So hold on to your dreams tight and realize, I know it sucks, but realize that you might have to move in some silence for a while. And that's the most courageous thing that you can do, because you're choosing to listen to that deepest part of you rather than the noise and the doubt, the people that you thought that you trusted.
Most people don't change. They live the same 6 months of their lives 100 times in a row, and then they die. They go to the same places, they make the same jokes, they tell the same stories, they work the same job, and then they die. And it's all because they were never willing to be uncomfortable, because they were never willing to change. And a lot of people get really uncomfortable when I talk about this, but most people are average. The average person stays stuck in the same patterns. And so if you want to have a different outcome, you have to walk a different path.
So you have a goal, a vision, and for whatever reason, you can't bring yourself to do the things that you need to do in order to get there. And it's not like the things that you need to be doing are difficult in any way or are a mystery, you know? Like, everyone knows what to do. So it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of will. Where do you find the will? Evidently, it's not going to be motivation, because motivation doesn't trump laziness. So what needs to change? How do we find the will? Many of us are too focused on everything that's going on out here, external factors, right? And when the physical world doesn't reflect what we want in our minds, it leaves us frustrated and confused and exhausted and discouraged and a whole bunch of other things that no one wants to feel. Whereas what needs to happen is we need to embody the person that we want to become on the inside. We need to adopt their mindset. We need to adopt their mental framework. We need to replicate their behaviors. And naturally, the physical realm will kind of just reflect that.
Your family and friends may not get it right now, and that's all right. They're gonna ask questions, they're gonna make fun of you, and that is okay, because you're gonna make them understand. You're gonna make them understand by going out and getting the result you want. They're gonna understand real quick when you have the body they want, the bank account they want, the car they want, the house they want, the family they want, the life they want. It's gonna go from why are you doing that to how did you do that? You can try to convince them all you want, you can talk to them until you're blue in the face, but the fact is, the only thing that's really gonna convince them that what you're doing is right is when you get the result. Nothing you can say to these people, no amount of convincing is going to speak louder than you having an undeniable stack of evidence that shows exactly why you're doing what you're doing.
You forgot who the f you are, bro. You got so caught up in other people's opinions and the way the world looks at you that you forgot what got you here in the first place. Forget everybody else, bro. Forget the crowd, forget the clubs, forget whatever it is. You have nobody to prove anything to it except yourself. You don't have as much time as you think, bro. Before you go, let me show you something. You see this guy? Remember what he said. Nobody is gonna hit as hard as life.
It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Keep moving forward, bro. Keep moving forward.
Never complain, never explain. And what it means is, don't complain about life. Don't explain what you're doing or why you're doing it. Just do it. By whining and complaining, all you're doing is making people think bad things about you, looking weak. And when you complain a lot, you have a mindset where everything is kind of a potential complaint. Stop whining and stop explaining yourself and just do things in the world and let your actions speak for themselves.
I think whenever we're going through a hard time, we just want it to end. But it's those moments that allow us to appreciate the good ones.
Do it sad, do it angry, do it heartbroken, do it miserable, do it excited, do it energized, do it happy, do it tired, do it confident, do it discouraged. Do it anyway. However you got to get it done, make sure it gets done. That's what separates the winners from the losers. That's what separates those that get what they want from those that only talk about what they want. So whatever you got to do, get it done.
The only thing standing between you and the life you want is committing to the process longer than anyone else is willing to. You don't need every answer. You just need the discipline to face what's in front of you. Day after day, hour after hour. Will it feel impossible at times? Absolutely. But it's in those moments where you rise above your doubts that you begin to create something special. This isn't about being ready. It's about being relentless. You got this.
The universe only gives us what we think we're worthy of receiving. So then people who show up for themselves every day, they start feeling pretty damn worthy. Like, hey, they're like, I'm worthy for this. Not like an entitlement way, like something, oh, they just like, I feel like it's gonna happen. I'm worthy for it.
You're not ready for what you want until you believe you can get it. All things are possible if you believe.
And you get it when you believe it. You get it when you believe you have it. And that's the clue. It's like people still, they sit around going, when's it gonna come? When's it gonna come? When's it gonna come? When's it gonna come? And that's the wrong way. You have to go, it's here, it's here, it's here.
When you really get this, your future for the most part is not consciously created, it's unconsciously remembered. Because you're actually being informed by something that you're still hurt by. And as a result of not accepting where you've been, you're gonna have a concern for where you're going.
And I will show you how I will. So for me, it burns. And I will not stop until I win. So I do these things. I always had this saying, why be normal when you can be the best? So when I do my things, I don't want to be normal. For me, normal, it doesn't exist. I want to make the difference. And when you make the difference, you are being the best. So for me, it's a challenge. So in reality, I'm fighting against myself, not against the other ones, because I want to be the best version of myself and take myself to limits and try myself. That's the purpose, and not be compared with other ones, because I don't compare.
Never give up. Never give up. I think that more than anything else, from every study I've read that's critical, if you resolve in advance that once you're set off to achieve your goal, that you will never give up, but you will never quit, that nothing can stop you, that every single difficulty will just be a spur to drive you on, that you will become an inverse paranoid and you'll look into every problem and you look for the good in the problem, you look for the lesson that you can learn, you look for the way you can turn the situation to your advantage. If you keep on doing that, if you keep optimistic, if you keep this attitude of confident expectation going, you will be successful. Your persistence is your measure of your belief in yourself. And every time you persist in the face of adversity, your belief in yourself increases until it reaches the point where you become unstoppable on the pathway to your goals.
I'm standing here right now in front of you. Judge me. I'm proud of every inch. I'm proud of every second. Do I have flaws? Yes. Do I work on them once they're identified? Yes. Am I constantly trying to improve the namesake, the IPO value of my name? Yes, I am. The small things mean as much to me as the large things, because those small things add up to be more and more and more. They create the big thing. You know, the big thing isn't just one.
It's trained for, it's fought for. In the training, in the gym, you know, in those moments of character testing, of morality, integrity, that everyone seems to fail these days. Who stands up, picks up the trash when no one's looking? Who does that? The same person that's on top of the podium later in life. They go hand in hand. It's the heartbeat, guys, at the end that really wins it. At the toppest level of competition, everyone's got the talent, everyone's got the perseverance, everyone has it all, and everyone wants it. But somebody wants it more. Someone's heartbeat is constantly beating for it. Not just when people are watching, not just in training, but when they're sleeping, they're dreaming of it. It's a constant cycle. How do you know when you're on the right path? When the small nuances in life that people don't really value, they consider a nuisance, you consider them as valuable as the big events when everyone is watching.
Your potential is determined by how much uncertainty you're willing to embrace.
When you're built different than everybody else and you have this desire for more, this desire for achievement, and this desire to win, everybody else looks at you like you're like, duh.
When people don't understand you anymore, you're in that spot of obsession and drive where people are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I don't want to talk to you, man, because you're not going to get it. You will never understand what is wrong with me. And that's why I'm so glad you don't, because I'm in the right spot.
And they'll tell you that too. You know, what's wrong with you? Like, why can't you just relax? Why can't you just do this? Why can't, because I'm just not built that way, man.
Has the alcohol worked yet, or do you still wake up the next day with the same pain that needs to be swept under the rug even harder? Did the drink turn you into that better version of yourself yet, or does your personality still require that liquid confidence every time just to come alive? I suppose if drinking is your source of fun, a good time is defined by escaping yourself, even if just a little bit. It doesn't seem that gratifying to me. You know, if you wanted to feel good without the poison, you definitely can, and a lot of people do it. But there's a heavy pressure of normalcy to break through if you're ever gonna find them and do the same.
Whether you like it or not, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, a lot of us are at war with ourselves. And within that war, you have several battles. Those battles are basically choices. No, I'm not talking about a war that you might find in the Colosseum. I'm talking about a war that's in your brain. That war exists because life has so many choices. Within those choices, you gotta make right decisions. You know what? Yeah. When your alarm goes off in the morning, you don't have to wake up. Don't wake up, don't worry about that. When you're in school, you that man, it's too hard step, so don't study. You know what? Don't eat healthy, because you don't have to. So guess what? When you fail, don't blame your mom, don't blame your dad, don't blame teachers. Only person to blame is yourself.
Never apologize for being obsessed. They'll call it too much. Let them. Positive obsession isn't a flaw. It's the edge that separates good from great. The one that cuts through excuses, distractions, and mediocrity. The world might call it too much, but they're just uncomfortable with the level of focus that they don't have. So go ahead, obsess over growth, obsess over your goals, obsess over becoming the best version of you.
Nobody else at the moment has the power to change you unless you have that initial spark and say, I must do something. I don't want this anymore. In order for something new to come, something old must go. Let go of what you know until now. Empty the cup and start from the beginning. You must spill the old tea and pour in new one. Then things look different.
scars make the man. Every day I wake up, I say to myself, you have two options right now. Keep dreaming with your dreams or wake up and make it reality. And I choose the second option always.
How much longer are you going to avoid what you are capable of doing in order to continue with what you are comfortable doing? And I just let that sit. And then let them reflect on that question. Because it could be the very thing they need to realize it's them stopping them.
You have to accept what has happened. You need to accept reality. It's one thing to accept the fact life isn't fair, this is cruel, I don't deserve this. It's a whole nother ballgame to accept that this is what has happened and it's not changing. And the longer that you hold on to the wish that this didn't happen, the longer you hold on to this wish, the longer you prolong your own suffering. I mean, most of human suffering, our internal pain, our anguish, it comes from the desire to have things be different than how they are. You know, there's one quote I love from the poet Rumi. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you.
In this suffering, there has to be some kind of growth. With every obstacle, I look at it as friction now. Without friction, there is no growth. You have to have friction in your life to grow. So I start looking at all these different things versus the woe is me mentality, like, oh my God, look at my life's so f***ed up. I start looking at it as a perfect trial ground. Try to flip it upside down and say, okay, I'm suffering tremendously, mentally. Use this to your advantage versus your disadvantage. So that's what I did. Versus looking at it as like, oh my God, woe is me, I'm never gonna get out of here. I looked at it as, okay, hang on a second. If I can overcome this, if I can find some power in this, some way to get through this, that right there will be the fuel for the rest of my life.
Why aren't you getting better every day? There is no good reason to voluntarily go to bed a worse version of yourself than you were when you woke up. You know who does that? You know who chooses to move the needle backwards every single day? People you don't want to be. All the people that are living the life that you're not interested in, with their job that they hate, with their income that they hate, with their relationships that they hate, with their body that they hate. By voluntarily not getting better, you are doing the same thing that they're doing. They might be further along in the process than you are, but you're still doing the same thing. You are going down the same path that they are choosing to go down. And before you go to bed tonight, I just want you to think about which path you went down today.
I actually think the greatest consequence in life is not keeping commitments to yourself. So, isn't it really lovely to know that maybe the way to turn that into a positive, upward reinforcing spiral is just keep that tiny commitment you made to yourself today. When you said you were going to get in bed at 10 p.m., you do that. And you stack that. Like, yesterday's out of play. But the next thing you do in the next hour, can you keep that commitment to yourself?
We've all heard it. It's always darkest before the dawn. You have to push through the hard to get to the place you're trying to get to. Tell me one good thing in your life that came without stress and anxiety. It does not exist. And when you feel the highest pressure, the highest stress, and the highest anxiety, when you're in the pursuit of something greater, it's a good indication that you're actually on the right path. It's a position that you want to actually be in, because once you push through this time of extreme stress, pressure, and anxiety, on the other side is the promised land that you've been looking for. So my advice would be lean into this, give it another 6 months, and what will happen is you're going to look back and be like, man, I can't believe I thought it was that hard.
You can convince yourself your entire life that you're weak and incapable, but maybe you've just never put yourself in a trying situation that required more of you. Our self-confidence, self-esteem isn't based on how we look or even what we think we can be, but on evidence of what we've already overcome in the past and what we're still giving each and every day. If you've always avoided challenges, bailed out when the water gets hot, quit after failing just once at anything, then you will forever see yourself as inadequate and incomplete because it's all you know, it's all you've ever fed yourself. So convince yourself otherwise and push yourself. For once in your life, life, finish that hard run. Give up going out and study more for one more night than you're used to. Look at how much your body's changed over just sticking to the plan for just a few months, and tell me these accomplishments aren't the greatest highs you've ever felt in your entire life. Tell me you still feel underachieving and undeserving of the happiness and personal accomplishments that have escaped you for so long. Stick with the hard problems for longer, especially when all that self-doubt and negative thoughts come out. They're not signs for you to take your foot off the gas and give up again. They're signs for you to push forward to somewhere you've never gone before, because the growth you're looking for can only be found through the adversity that you're so afraid of. You know, man, everything you want is on the other side of just a little more push than you're used to. That's the only currency you'll ever need to save your life from yourself.
The root cause of the quitter isn't that you can't do 100 push-ups. You can train anybody to do that. The root cause of the quitter is when you get in hell, you can't process it. It's too much to process, because your mind starts going back to the real reality of like, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough. It's not trained. So I started training this, realizing that the only thing that makes me quit is not the muscle fatigue, it's the mental fatigue that makes me quit everything in life. So I became a practitioner of the mind. The mind is a very powerful thing. It has a tactical advantage over you all the time. It knows your fears, it knows your insecurities, it knows where you don't want to go. So it will guide you away from that. And that's why the mind will always win until you reprogram it. It will always win until you reprogram it. Because the mind controls you. Why is that? It's your mind. It's your mind. Because all those things that happen to you in your life, all those bad things, all those things that you blame other people for, they're now yours to own. You got to figure out a way to reprogram your mind to get outside the box.
There's a moment in life that breaks you. A moment when everything you thought you had, everything you built, everything you believed in, collapses. Maybe it's the loss of someone you loved. Maybe it's a dream that crumbled, a failure so massive that you don't even recognize yourself anymore. Maybe it's the weight of years of mistakes, pain, regret, rock bottom, a place where you feel empty, number lost. And when you're there, it feels permanent. It feels like the end. Like the best parts of life are behind you. Like you have nothing left to give. But listen to me. Rock bottom is not the end. It's the foundation. I know it doesn't feel that way now. But one day you'll look back and realize that this moment, this painful, unbearable, earth-shattering moment, was the beginning of something greater. The art of rising after hitting rock bottom isn't about going back to who you used to be. It's about becoming someone new, stronger, wiser, unbreakable. And it starts right now.
The first step to rebuilding is accepting reality. Not running from it. Not pretending it's not happening. But facing it head on. This is where you are. This is your starting point. But this is not who you are. The mistake people make when they hit rock bottom is that they think they're stuck there forever. They let their circumstances become their identity. I failed, so I must be a failure. I lost everything, so I must be worthless. I made mistakes, so I must be broken beyond repair. None of that is true. You are not your rock bottom. You are the person who will rise from it. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's simply saying, this is where I am right now, but it's not where I'm going to stay. Let's be real. You're not going to feel motivated right now. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly feel like taking on the world. And if you wait for that moment, you'll stay exactly where you are. Motivation isn't what gets you out of rock bottom. Action is. Even if you don't feel like it. Even if you're exhausted. Even if everything inside you is screaming. What's the point? You take a step anyway, and then another, and then another. It doesn't matter how small. What matters is that you're moving, because movement creates momentum. And once you have momentum, everything changes.
You start where you are, with what you have. Don't try to fix everything at once. Focus on the smallest, most manageable step you can take today. If you're drowning in regret, start by forgiving yourself, just a little. If you feel weak, start by proving to yourself that you're not. One workout, one challenge, one promise kept. If you feel lost, start by doing one thing that brings even the smallest sense of direction. Reading, learning, asking for help. You don't need to rebuild your entire life in one day. You just need to lay one brick every day. And eventually, you'll look up and realize you've built something unshakable. You have two choices. You can let rock bottom be the reason you stay down, or you can let it be the reason you rise. The world will tell you that you're broken, that your mistakes define you, that you'll never recover. But you don't have to accept that story. You get to write a new one. Adopt the mindset of a warrior. A warrior doesn't ask, "Why did this happen to me?" A warrior asks, "What am I going to do about it?" A warrior doesn't wait for things to get easier. They train in the fire. They use the pain, the anger, the loss, not as shackles, but as fuel. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a fighter, the game changes.
Pain can do one of two things. It can destroy you, or it can transform you. The difference is how you use it. Use the heartbreak to become stronger. Use the failure to become wiser. Use the betrayal to become sharper. Pain isn't something to numb or run from. It's raw energy. It's fire. And if you channel it, if you harness it, if you use it, it becomes power. The people who do great things in life, they didn't avoid pain. They turned it into fuel. Think back to the version of you who hit rock bottom. The one who felt lost, hopeless, like they had nothing left. Now ask yourself, what did they need? Did they need someone to remind them they were stronger than they thought? Did they need proof that this wasn't the end? Did they need someone to show them that survival wasn't just possible? It was inevitable? Be that person. Not just for yourself, but for others. The ones who are still lost, still hurting.
This isn't about a one-time comeback. This isn't about getting back to where you were before. This is about becoming something more, because life will knock you down again. That's a guarantee. But the difference now, you know how to rise. And once you know that, once you've done it, once you've felt the power of standing up after falling, you become unstoppable. You don't rise because it's easy. You don't rise because you feel like it. You rise because you refuse to stay down. Because this moment, this pain, this rock bottom, it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your greatest chapter. So stand up, take the first step, and rise again and again and again until you become the person you were always meant to be.